Hello and welcome. So today, we are continuing with Morroblivion. We're going to be doing the second DLC. We did Blood Moon last time. I am in the sewers. I already traveled to the mainland. The reason being, Dark Brotherhood attacks was the quest that we got that started this DLC off, but I went to Mournhold, I went to the mainland, and then I went into the sewers and found the space. Why did I skip to here? Because it took me forever to find this place. And I was like, I'm not going to start this video by wandering around in the sewers for a half an hour. So here we are. I already found the base. Time to fight some Dark Brotherhood. Oh, he's dead. He's real dead. Okay.
What was that?
You know, it makes me wonder. Man. The Dark Brotherhood are kind of squishy. Let's see. I'll unmask them. They're not all. They are. They are all dark elves with mohawks. You know, I wonder. Oh, he's got. That's probably a paralyzed blade. Just gotta hit them first. But yes, what I was gonna say is I wonder how many Dark Brotherhood members would it take for them to quit, right? Oh, he got me. Somehow, my reflect paralyzed them too. Maybe I'll get up first. But yeah, because we went on this quest to find them. Because they attacked us first. And what I was saying is how many Dark Brotherhood members would it have taken, like, if they kept sending people after us? Because we did this because they attacked us in our sleep. But if we did not find them and they just kept sending people after us, how many would it have taken before they gave up? Like, if we had killed a dozen of them, which we already have, like, if we just left right now and left a note of like, hey, this was Nerevar. You better leave me alone or I'll come back, you know? Would they do it? They probably should do it. But I guess maybe at the same time, maybe they wouldn't. But they probably should at that point. Is this not the right way? Apparently, I'm going over here. But yeah, I think this is the most Dark Brotherhood members you kill ever in any Elder Scrolls title, right? I mean, I don't know about Elder Scrolls Online, but certainly out of the main ones, whether it's Oblivion or Skyrim, both of those have relatively small. Both of them have relatively small Dark Brotherhood groups. It's like fencing with them now because they have those paralyzed blades. What the? Why is that one fighting that one? But yes, I've been delving into a lot of Elder Scrolls lore lately. It sounds like they're fighting each other even more over here. I've been delving into lots of Elder Scrolls lore. Okay, I have killed Dandris Vules, the leader of the Dark Brotherhood in Mournhold. As he died, he spoke to me. Tell my liege I have failed. Of whom Vules was speaking, I have yet to determine. Perhaps there is some evidence in his chambers that might lead me to one who wishes me dead. I found a Dark Brotherhood contract that marks me for execution. The contract was written on the Order of H. This should give me some clue as to who wants me dead. I should report my findings to a guard immediately. Okay, let's see. What should I drop? But yes, I have been delving into Elder Scrolls lore. Well, I guess I should drop this. Like, sure, this thing is cool. Well, then again, the Adamantium one. Weird how Adamantium is pretty much gone. Mithril and Adamantium are gone from Elder Scrolls. At least they're gone from Skyrim, that's for sure. Adamantium doesn't show up in Oblivion. And Mithril does not show up in Skyrim. But maybe it'll be the same for the next one. Maybe if they ever go back to Cyrodiil, Mithril will show back up. But it is stronger. It is stronger than this one, but the glass Jink Blade is only 1 pound. So that one goes. But yes, I keep getting my thought interrupted. I've been delving into Elder Scrolls lore. And one of the things that is mentioned there is that the Dark Brotherhood originated as a derivative of the Morag Tong. That the whole Night Mother thing goes back to the Morag Tong. And when they talk about the... like, some of the lore attributes the murder of one of the emperors to the Dark Brotherhood, but then, like, there's conflicting sources that say that it was the Morag Tong, and I guess that's because in some ways they are considered the same entity, though this is obviously a different entity from the Morag Tong. But yes, if it's just an offshoot of the Morag Tong where it was originally a derivative of it and then was eventually expanded upon into its own organization, that would make sense. I gotta find a way out of here. I gotta find a way out of here that's not gonna take forever to get out of the sewers, too. Whatever exit was over here better lead back up to the surface. There was not even an exit over there. Okay, and that's just kind of like an entrance into that guy's house. But yes, the fact that it's an offshoot of the Morag Tong, I think would explain why this is the most Dark Brotherhood members we would ever find. If it was originally a Dunmer organization that just spread to different provinces. And I guess Nerevar was responsible for pretty much wiping them out. At this point, seemingly. Oh yeah, I'm not fighting that thing. That thing is way tougher than every Dark Brotherhood member that we had come across yet. I'm stuck. Oh. Ah. Oh my god, it's beating me up. Get out of here. Yeah, it might look like a straight shot now. From the Great Bazaar to that entrance, but hey, there was no map marker. It was not nearly as clear while I was doing it. Right, if you see that, it's like, that seemed like a straight line. How did it take you a half an hour to find that? Come on, it was not that simple. There was much more places to go in that sewer. It was not nearly that clear where I was supposed to go. Also, this map lies. Like, this map is fancy, but it lies. We're in the Great Bazaar right now. And it just kind of shows us up here. But at least it looks cool, though. It is a nice, fancy map. Oh, did the Lich follow us up here? It could have. Either that guy... That guy must just be terrified of the, I was gonna say terrified of the Nerevar, but no. Everybody's kind of running around, so there must be a monster coming up out of the sewer.
I don't know you. What do you want?
Dark Brotherhood.
You believe you killed their leader? Maybe, maybe not. Perhaps you should speak with Fedrizler about this.
You don't seem to have an updated dialogue option of who in the world Fedris Lur, or whatever their name is.
Greetings, Outlander. Perhaps you'd like to hear the latest rumors?
No.
I don't know anything about who might have sent those people after you. If you're looking for help, try talking to Tanius Delision at the Royal Palace. If you're...
You know, it certainly is curious. The recent developments with AI voices, because obviously... Like, I feel like AI voices now are much more controversial than they were when they were added to this game, right? Because people were just kind of appreciative that somebody gave Morrowind voice acting. And it was far less controversial because the voice acting was bad, right? It was bad imitations of real voices. Now that the voices are good, now that voice imitating is good, and sometimes... as lifelike, if not more lifelike, it's far more controversial a thing now.
I don't know you.
Who was it you told me to look for, man?
You believe you killed their leader? Maybe, maybe not. Perhaps you should speak with Fedrizler about this.
Who is Fedris Halur? And it does not help that the map is busted as well. It makes it so that even if there was like a specific place I could go to, if I was like, oh, maybe Fedris Halur is in the palace or something, I'm gonna have to find it on my own. Because the map does not accurately tell me where I am.
I don't know you.
The spell doesn't work in this place? Why? Is it because you don't want me flying over the wall? That's rude. I could get over that wall if I wanted to. You don't like my levitate spell? I could just go get a bunch of paintbrushes. And then I could duplicate them and get over it just fine. That does make me wonder if it would not let me fly in the Oblivion cities either. It probably would. It probably wouldn't care. I wonder why it cares here.
I don't know you. What do you want?
I want to know where Fedris Halur is.
Under sun and sky, Outlander, we greet you warmly. I clean this temple, Sarah.
Oh my god, I found you. I found you. What are the chances? I was like, maybe he's in the big important building.
Ah, you're the one who has recently arrived in Mournhold from Vardenfell. I was told of your arrival. I understand you had some problems with the Dark Brotherhood. An interesting group, and usually rather effective. I'm surprised you're still alive. Perhaps you have potential, or they sent incompetence. I believe you might be of service to Our Lady.
But yes. Like, you hear the voice acting coming out of him. It's kind of, like, you can still tell it's based on the Morrowind voice from Oblivion, right? Or not Morrowind voice. The Dark Elf voice from Oblivion. And for those that don't know, this is not my only YouTube channel. I have a multitude of them, and this just happens to be one of the more popular ones. And I don't usually talk about the other channels, just because I don't think there's actually like a crossover of audience almost at all. Like I think each individual channel has like a very specific thing that people are coming to that channel for. So I don't feel it's ever relevant to bring them up. But one of the channels is a audiobook style channel, and one of the recent projects that I've taken on is recreating Elder Scrolls audiobooks in or by having the characters from the games read the books. And currently I have no plans of monetizing any of that content. But it is a weird thing to see. Like I'm doing that just as a resource for the fans. Like, when I hear this kind of dialogue, the thing I think about is that I could easily redo all of this dialogue much better with the current tech that's available. I could do it in a month. I could redo all the dialogue of Morrowind / Morroblivion easily. Okay? And yeah, so I'm working on this project, and so far it's going pretty well, but it is a weird thing to see the other applications of that kind of tech out there, like how just filled with memes and that kind of thing that that YouTube has become. Here, let's see what this guy has to say before I continue this thought.
I am always aware of those who might be able to serve Our Lady Almalexia. Few are worthy to do so. The temple and the city is guarded by the High Ordinators, and their hands fulfill other duties for the lady. I am her chief steward, Fedris Halur. Now, if you wish to be of use, we have some matters to discuss.
Okay, what? Tell me about the Dark Brotherhood.
You say you've killed the local Dark Brotherhood leader, have you? And he spoke of this before he died. Well, I can tell you that the new King Helseth has been rumored to use the Dark Brotherhood's services. If he's the one who's after you, you'd better investigate it immediately. Try speaking with Tenius Stelligian as captain. He's a reasonable man.
They are the servants to Our Lady Almalexia. When something must be done in her name, the hands are her instruments. They are the strongest, most pious, and most loyal of all the lady's followers.
So the H probably means that it was a hand of Almalexia trying to have us killed.
Perhaps you have already met young King Hlalu Helseth, a foul man unworthy to sit on a throne. Still, he holds right of succession. The lady must keep an ever-watchful eye on this king, though, lest he do something that would be detrimental to the temple, our fair city, or perhaps of all of Morrowind. Currently, there are concerns about some new recruits that Helseth seems to be training.
Alright, well maybe they're trying to tell me that Helseth is the one trying to kill us, but at the same time, I'm not buying it. It's definitely Almalexia that wants me dead.
A standing army is nothing new in the city, though it is largely unnecessary. Mournhold is protected by her walls from the outside, and by Our Lady Almalexia from within. None would dare mount an attack here. Still, tradition dictates that the king maintain an army. We believe that Helseth is raising quite a different sort of army, a goblin army.
A goblin army. You know, this reminds me of something else that I have learned in lore recently, which is that, like, they try and hype up the dwarves a lot in Elder Scrolls lore when you see all the tech that they have available. But, like, the more I learn about the history of the world of Elder Scrolls, the more I think that the Dunmer, or not the Dunmer, but the dwarves, the Dwemer, the more I think the Dwemer were actually the least physically capable race in Elder Scrolls history. Because, one, I don't know if it was before or after they managed to get things like Centurions and that up and running, but they were driven from Daggerfall, whatever. They were driven from Daggerfall by goblins. Like, they got beat up and ousted by goblins, not even anyone cool. And they, like, that's when they left and they went east, and of course you see all the ruins of them in Skyrim, but they got ousted from Skyrim too by the Nords, and then, like, by then, because they get pushed out of Skyrim because of the Nords, then the majority of them are just on Morrowind, and then the Dunmer, who were the Chimer at the time, they weren't even Dunmer yet, because the Dunmer happened after this conflict with the dwarves, they get beaten by them too. Like, it goes from getting beaten by goblins to Nords, and Nords are the one where it's like, well, they are probably the biggest and strongest, but then, like, the Chimer, they have magic, right? But, like, still, you would think, when you think about the Dwemer and the tech that they have, you would think that they would beat somebody, but, like, a lot of their history is just them consistently losing to whoever decides to go to war with them. It's wild. You know what? I should probably finish that thought that I was having about AI. Before I get, like, because who knows how long this guy's going to talk. I should probably finish that thought on AI as well. Like, I personally believe there is a responsible way to use AI voices and all that kind of thing. And there is definitely like a gray area for fair use. And, like, I personally don't have any interest in making any kind of meme content for it. And, like, it is so overused at this point that I don't even like seeing it, to be honest. Like, because the tech is advanced, just the absolute digital pollution, I would call it, of just channels full of AI content has happened so quickly that it's amazing. It makes me wonder what the internet is even going to be like 10 years from now. There's probably going to be more AI generated content than human content by then. But yeah. Like, I do feel like there is a responsible way to do it in some way. Like, say somebody makes some kind of funny meme video. That's probably fair use, right? But what if you take, like, Master Chief or Dagoth Ur's voice, and you make a channel where your profile picture's Master Chief or Dagoth Ur, and your banner is Master Chief or Dagoth Ur, and you do nothing but Master Chief and Dagoth Ur memes. Like, this, think of this as two separate channels. And, like, your entire brand is Master Chief and Dagoth Ur. And you do nothing but use AI voice content of them. Is that fair use? I don't think it is. When it crosses over into, like, not being an occasional thing you do, like, it's not just a haha Dagoth Ur funny meme voice, and it, like, becomes the brand that you're selling online, like, that's probably too far. But I don't know. Like, this is all gonna be sorted out in time anyway. But I mean, that's how I think about it. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, is this okay? Like, it's like, you see, like, that kind of stuff, and it's like, it's got 1 million views, and everybody loves it. I'm like, I guess everybody's okay with this. I'm sure not everybody is, but it seems like a little too much to me.
Foul, vicious creatures. No wonder Helseth has chosen them to be his foot soldiers. I know that the goblins are being trained nearby, though not where exactly. Ask around the city about goblins. Someone will know. I wish for you to find the location of goblin training area. When you do, kill the war chiefs. There should be 2. Sever the head of this army, and the rest will shatter like a scrape. You might rid the city of their 2 Altmer trainers as well. Complete this task, and the lady will be pleased.
Altmer trainers.
Traditionally, the Altmer have used the goblins to reinforce their armies. Why, I do not know. Rumor has it that Helseth has contracted 2 Altmer to train his goblin army. If you find these Altmer, it would be a service to rid the city of them as well.
That's curious. The way they depicted them in Oblivion did not make them seem like you could talk to them at all. The fact that Altmer can, like, train and communicate with goblins is wild.
You're to get rid of the 2 Altmer trainers if you can. The Lady Olmalexia resides here in the High Temple. We in Mournhold all live under her protection. Miserable, horrid creatures. They're vile and vicious. They vary in size from smaller than a Bosmer to larger than a Nord. Some are mindless animals. Others have learned the ways of magic. You'll often see them with trained Urzogs, another filthy creature.
Yeah, I encountered one of those Durzog things. I had no idea what it was.
As I said, a goblin army.
This guy's tired of me asking questions.
I am never too busy.
Let's see, did I miss something? What am I supposed to do here? In addition to the 2 goblin war chiefs, Allura mentioned that there are at least 2 Altmer in charge of training the goblins for Helseth. If I can also get rid of them, the goddess will be pleased. And you see the way goblins are depicted in this game, in Oblivion. The goblins in Oblivion are pretty big. Like, they're kind of gangly, have big heads, but they are big. So if you think of the Dwemer as being, like, how they say, I feel like if they ever brought back the Dwemer, they probably would retcon how small they are. Because they're supposed to be, like, almost, like, child size, right? Like a Nord child size, but with a beard. Like, that's what the Nords say, right? That they're like Nord children, but with beards. And they're elves, right? But so if you were thinking about Oblivion goblins, you would think, oh, Oblivion goblins are much bigger than Nord children. So that could make sense how they could get beaten by goblins. And there's the classical dwarves versus goblin kind of motif in Tolkien kind of lore, so it would make sense that they would try and adapt that for Elder Scrolls. It just, when you... just the more you get into Elder Scrolls, the more it makes, the less sense it makes that that goblins could beat them. But it makes them seem very incapable. Okay, according to Halur, Almalexia considers the goblins an abomination and is horrified that Halseth would consider using the beasts as soldiers. The goddess worries that the temperamental Halseth will lose control of the creatures and they will attack Mournhold. I am to kill the goblin war chiefs and report back to Halur. Although he did not know where the goblins were being trained, perhaps one of the locals has more information. That's what I'm looking for. I gotta talk to the locals. Oh, and also, on the point of the goblins, it makes it worse if they retcon them. Because if you see, like, I don't know how goblins were depicted in Daggerfall. But like I said, they are fairly big in this. But they have since retconned them. If you see, like, the Creation Club content for goblins, they are back to being tiny. And if you see the goblins within like, Elder Scrolls Blades, I don't know if they're in Elder Scrolls Online. They probably are. But if you see them in Elder Scrolls Blades, the mobile game, they are tiny. They are very small. They are not Oblivion-sized anymore. The Oblivion-sized goblins have been retconned. They are gone. So, like, when you think about the tiny goblins, it makes it even worse that the Dwemer got beat by them.
I don't think we've been introduced, Outlander. How can I help you?
Tell me about the goblins. Well, she,
Under sun and sky, Outlander, we greet you warmly.
Good enough for me. I don't care if her mouth didn't move. She gave me a map marker.
Go ahead. Justice never sleeps. Good for the... Greetings, Wide Walker.
All right, where are we going? Oh, you know, when I was wandering around trying to find that entrance, I killed a lot of goblins. See, this is already all. When I couldn't find the Dark Brotherhood entrance, I wandered through here. And, like, the liches and everything were too tough for me. Like, they took way too much time and effort to kill, so I just kind of flew past them. But the goblins weren't that tough. So I killed all them. Is this the majority of this DLC? Like, because we have come to the mainland, right? Do we not even get to explore the mainland? Am I stuck in this city for this DLC? We probably are. That was just a Bone Lord. That wasn't one of the liches. The liches were much tougher. But you know, they could do stuff like this for other cities, and I'd be fine with it. If they didn't want to go through the effort of doing a whole city. Or like a whole landscape, and instead just want to do a single city. Like, say instead of... Beyond Skyrim Bruma. Instead of Beyond Skyrim Bruma, if we got a... Beyond Skyrim Imperial City. And we couldn't leave the Imperial City, but we got to explore all the districts and fight in their arena and that kind of thing. It would have been pretty awesome. I would have been cool with that. But Beyond Skyrim Bruma is a fantastic addition to Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It is unfortunate that there has not been any other releases from them. I'm sure it is hard to get, you know, a substantial amount of volunteers for that kind of thing. Because it has been quite a few years since Beyond Skyrim Bruma was released. At this pace, I wouldn't be surprised if we got, like, maybe one more. One more release from them, if we're lucky. Before the next Elder Scrolls game drops. Because Todd Howard can't release Skyrim forever, right? He is going to eventually release Skyrim Hammerfall, or whatever it is. Where the hell is the entrance to this place? Like, I flew over there, I didn't see it. Which I think that's correct. I think the next one is in Hammerfall. Alright, I don't know what I'm looking for over there. Whatever the entrance is, it sure seems impossible to find. So we're going over here. Which, that reminds me. Like, it would be curious if they were doing Hammerfall again. Considering Hammerfall was featured in Elder Scrolls 2. I feel like it would give them a reason to re-explore or mention a lot of the things that happened in Daggerfall. It makes me wonder what they're going to do in terms of how the game starts. Like, is it going to allude to the fact of how Daggerfall ended, is what I'm wondering. Because of course, the climax of Daggerfall and the history books about the warp in the West make you wonder if the main character was time displaced in some way. So it makes it so, like, depending on how they started, if it is in Hammerfall, which I'm pretty sure it is. Like, I've seen the thing where, like, it shows whatever, just a landscape, and it says, like, Hammerfall or whatever. So unless Todd Howard changes his mind, that's what it's gonna be. One Goblin War Chief dead. But they might allude to that previous protagonist if they do something with that. Which, I mean, that could be something. Yes, I've done it. I've killed the 2 Goblin War Chiefs. That could be something they could play with. The fact that, like, the protagonist of Daggerfall was also the protagonist of Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. And he vanishes at, like, during the climax of that. History never hears from that guy again. But he was not the only one to vanish. Like, a bunch of kingdoms vanished as well. Or fiefdoms, whatever you would consider them. Like, only the major ones were left after the warp in the west. Like Daggerfall, Orsinium, Wayrest, and Hammerfall. I think those were the 4 that were left afterwards. And everything else disappeared. And I'm just saying, if they're going back over there, it would not be out of the question in my mind for them to draw on that and have people that vanished during that event suddenly reappear in the timeline. Civilizations and people that were time displaced for hundreds of years just popping back up. I think that would be a fine plot point to draw from if they were going to revisit that area. And you never know, with what they did with Elder Scrolls, Fallout 4, with having the main character actually have, like, a pseudo backstory and actually being voiced, they might do it. They might have it be that guy from Arena and Daggerfall. They might bring that guy back. That doesn't necessarily mean that you wouldn't be able to choose, like, a race and all that kind of thing. But it still might be like a kind of a little bit of a forced backstory, like Fallout 4 had. Like, there was definitely less room to role play in Fallout 4 than there were in previous Bethesda games. But to be fair, these must be the elves. Yes, I know. I did it. I killed them. But yeah, what I was saying was, traditionally, like, you can't really count Fallout New Vegas considering it was not 100% made by Bethesda, right? It was in their engine, but, like, they sure didn't have as much direction with it as, say, they did with Fallout 3. Like, Fallout 3, there's much less you can do in terms of role-playing with what your character's backstory is. Considering you know you were born and raised in that vault. You know your dad is Liam Neeson, and that you've got to go find him. Like, the basics of the story are also set in stone for Fallout 3. You are much more able to tell your own story in Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 did not differ that much. Just having the protagonist voiced in 4 made all the difference to where it was much more noticeable in 4 than 3. I was hoping this would be a way out of here, but it's not. But yeah, point being that they might do the same with Elder Scrolls 6. We'll have to see, but like, there's also only so much of that you can do with the Elder Scrolls as well. Like, the Elder Scrolls have always been like a tell-your-own-story kind of game. But there are certain things that you can't really escape in those stories as well. Like in Morrowind, like, you cannot say that, like, the protagonist from Daggerfall is the same guy in Oblivion, and is the same guy in Morrowind, and is the same guy in Skyrim, right? You cannot bend it that much in terms of, like, writing your own narrative, writing your own headcanon for the game. Because in Morrowind, it's part of the story that you are the Nerevarine. Like, you are literally a reincarnation of some guy that lived thousands of years earlier. Forget exactly how many years, but you're the reincarnation of a guy through the will of Azura. Like, you're literally the avatar of a Chimer champion that has been dead since the dwarves disappeared. And it's like a reincarnation at the will of Azura, which is actually one of the things that is different about Morrowind. I'm just trying to find my way out of here. But it's one of the things that is different about Morrowind compared to the other ones. Like, one, it makes it immediately so, like, okay, you can't be the guy from Arena and Daggerfall, right? Unless, like, because he would have to be, like, time displaced or something to get there. But not only that, but the character, we could have totally clipped through the world there. The character in Daggerfall and Arena has no ties to Azura whatsoever, right? Whereas the character in Oblivion is probably a Shezarine? Shezar, however you would want to pronounce it. How do I get out of here? Is it that one? Or is it that one? City Gate? Let's try this one first since it's closer. But yeah, being like the avatar of Lorcan or something. Because there's the whole ties to the, I don't remember exactly how much they go into the ties with, like, Pelinal White Strike and all that. In Oblivion. It's been a long time since I've done the Umaril DLC. Oh no, this was definitely the wrong way. I'm going backwards. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've done the Umaril DLC, but Pelinal is supposed to be a Shezarine as well, right? He's supposed to be potentially this this avatar of Lorcan, the guy that actually created the world. Whereas the Morrowind protagonist is the avatar of the Nerevarine, or the reincarnation of him. The avatar of Nerevar, or the reincarnation of Nerevar. The Shezarine is the avatar of Lorcan. And we 100% know that he's not a Dragonborn. Right, like, if we already know that he becomes Sheogorath, which is an interesting concept in and of itself. If you do believe he's the Shezarine. Because it means that, in a way, like, if the avatar of Lorcan is trapped within Sheogorath the same way Jigalag was, does that mean that Shezar or Lorcan can no longer influence the events of man anymore the way he was doing as Pelinal or the champion of Oblivion? Is his will trapped in the guise of Sheogorath the same way Jigalag was, unable to execute the plans he actually wanted to do? Okay, that was the one we couldn't get into, right? So this is the doors we gotta go to. Man, it's a good thing I have stuff to talk about this whole journey back, considering how long it's taking to get out of here. You know what? While I'm here, I'll wait an hour. Just to get my health back. But yeah. But yeah, we know 100% of a fact that the Oblivion protagonist is not a Dragonborn because he could not wear the Amulet of Kings, right? So we know for a fact that you can no way spin that the protagonists from one game to another are the same. That the Dragonborn in Elder Scrolls V is not in any way going to be the same guy from Elder Scrolls 4. Like, because he's a Dragonborn, we already know the Oblivion guy was not a Dragonborn. He couldn't wear the amulet. Right? If he was a Dragonborn and was able to wear the amulet, after Martin died, he could have just became Emperor. Right? That is also something that seems to get skipped over a lot when it comes to Skyrim. Like, I know they were talking about in when it comes to the Beyond Skyrim Bruma stuff, and they were talking about, like, the succession of the Empire and how this is definitely not the way I want to go. how if they did do the Imperial City DLC or expansion, mod expansion, that the plot line would not be there for you to become the Emperor. But to me, it feels like it absolutely should be in there. Like the Dragonborn has more right to the throne than anyone. Right? Like Martin and Uriel, all of them were Dragonborns. They just didn't live in an era where they could kill dragons. So they didn't absorb any dragon power. That's the only difference. How the hell did I get down here? I'm gonna check this residential sewer thing. See if it's a ladder out or not. Definitely is not gonna be. It's underwater. But yeah. The only reason I'm going on this tangent is that it does make it like when you know less about the lore, it makes writing your own like headcanon about it a lot easier, if that makes sense. Like when you think about Oblivion and you're just some guy in a cell, like a like completely subject to circumstance, right? Of you're just some guy in a cell that they have stumbled upon you there, and you get to go through that. You get to go through that hole in your cell, and you get to freedom and all that, and the story begins. Like a hero by circumstance and all that. But then when you add the extra layer of, like, no, actually, it's not by circumstance. That's the avatar of a god directly, like, interfering in human affairs to bend history to his will. It's like, all right, maybe there's a lot less, like, you can do with that in terms of roleplay. Hell, this is problematic. I hope one of you is not important to the story.
You make it.
But yeah, just like in Skyrim, when you think about the fact that the Dragonborn is the avatar of Akatosh, when you think about the fact that the Dragonborn is the avatar of Akatosh, and historically they have been descended from the Septim bloodline since, like, the beginnings of the Empire. Or since the beginnings of
Show respect, Sarah.
the Amulet of Kings and the Septim Dynasty and all that, however far back the Amulet of King goes, and the deal with Akatosh to protect them from Oblivion. It makes it much less reasonable that you would play something like a Khajiit or an Argonian, because all of a sudden it makes no sense that you would be Dragonborn, because there was never a Dragonborn Khajiit up until that point, right? Like, you could roleplay as the as a bastard son of Martin Septim, or like descendant of Martin Septim if you wanted. But, like, actually just being a random Khajiit that's a Dragonborn makes so much less sense. Let's see. Is there a specific person I'm supposed to be talking to here? It just says, I've killed this person. So I probably need to go back to talk to that guy. But I don't remember how to get back to him. But yes, it's one of those things where, like, That's why a lot of the time I spent in those games was not even doing the main stories, right?
Justice never.
Of like playing a Khajiit or playing an Argonian and just never even talking to Balgruuf or anything so that dragons never spawn. And same thing in Oblivion. Just never progress the main story, go do your own thing, and pretend that didn't happen.
Well, what's the status with the Goblin army? Have you taken care of it yet?
Yes, I did it.
I have heard you've killed both of them. This will please the lady. You've killed the war chiefs and their Altmer trainers, and you live to tell the tale. Interesting and surprising. Perhaps I've underestimated you. Rest assured it won't happen again. Take this as a token of Our Lady's appreciation. Well done.
So, wiping out the Dark Brotherhood was not impressive enough. Yeah, I mean, this guy, it's curious that this guy is, like, thinking it's not obvious that Almalexia wants me dead. Considering, like, this is her city, and there's all these horrible things right underneath it, and it's like, really? She's a goddess, and she wouldn't have just, like, if these things were a problem, she wouldn't have just taken care of these earlier? Like, no, she's obviously, like, using the Dark Brotherhood as a means to kill her enemies. And because she had a hand in killing the original Nerevar wanted me dead.
I have nothing for you at this time. Speak with Gevesdrin, the Lord Artcanum. He was in consultation with the Lady Almalexia this very morning. Perhaps he has something for you.
Sure. Where is he?
Three blessings, Sarah.
You know, I think
Almalexia knows.
Do I have scrolls that could have gotten me out of there faster? I don't think I do. Or, yeah. I think this would have got me out of there faster. I don't know where that would have put me, but that kind of stuff is exclusive to Morrowind, and having, like, so much time in Oblivion over Morrowind, it's never on my mind to use.
Yes, you are the one that Ler mentioned. Interesting. You are to be of service to Our Lady. It is essential, and all would be displeased were you to fail.
You are not a member. Do you wish to join the temple? The only approach to the crater citadels is up 4 days and Uden from Fort Moonmuth through the Ghostfence at the fortress.
That doesn't sound related. Okay, what am I supposed to talk to you about, dude?
Yes, beneath this temple, there is a large sewer system built around the ruins of old Mournhold. You smell like you may have spent some time there. Regardless, in these ruins there lies a shrine. This shrine has been corrupted.
Oh my god, this whole DLC does revolve around those sewers. You just come out of the sewers and they tell you to go back down.
The Shrine of the Dead was once a place of great power. It served as a channel to the ancestors, allowing the faithful to learn from them, to harness their power. Over the years, it has been forgotten, and it has grown sore. The power that radiates from the shrine has drawn hordes of the undead to it. The Shrine of the Dead must be cleansed.
Okay, is there anything else I need to say to...
No, certainly not by you. This task falls to one of Almalexia's chosen. You will escort this young priest, Ervil Dolny, to the shrine. Protect him well. His experience is limited, but he is necessary to complete the ritual. The shrine is protected by the profane, powerful liches who feed from the power of the shrine. You must destroy them for Dolny to perform his duties. I stress again, protect Dolny at all costs. It is he who must perform the ceremony. If he is not able, there are no others.
This is a nightmare. How could I ever do this? Those liches were very problematic.
Wealth beyond measure, Outlander.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna save here. Is the person I need to talk to in there or not? Yeah, there's not like a second floor.
Almalexia knows and sees. Our Lady's blessings upon you, faithful servant.
Let's wait an hour. Yeah, the typical dark elf voice.
Our Lady's blessings upon you, faithful servant.
Yeah, that voice. I have not tried to have that voice do any kind of dialogue in, like, via AI. I'm not convinced that it would do it very well. Like, when I hear that voice, okay, I'm convinced that that character is not going to come out of there. But yeah, when I hear that voice, it sounds like a person straining their voice to sound like extra gravelly, right? And the AI somehow can tell if you're doing that, and it'll make you sound like it.
Blessings upon you.
Like a lot of the times, the AI takes whatever you're doing, if you're doing like a weird voice, and it can strip it away and just make you sound normal. Like Shea Gorath. Shea Gorath, I thought that would be a nice addition, having the Shea Gorath voice read some of the Shea Gorath stories that there are, and that did not work so well. It could tell the voice actor was doing a weird Irish thing, and took it away and just made him sound like a normal Imperial Guard, which blew me away. I was like, how could it do this? How it could, like, it could just search through it and go like, whatever you're doing there is not your real voice, and here you go, back to normal.
Our Lady's blessings upon you, faithful servant.
So when I hear that, I'm like, it would probably make this guy sound completely different if I tried to use that guy's voice for something.
What is it?
Let's see, is there something I can do to progress this?
Finish your task at hand. Take.
What's her name?
Take Donar there.
Mathera.
It's you.
Hello. I'm told you will accompany me to the Shrine of the Dead and protect me as we travel together. Our Lady commands it, so I suppose.
Yes, come with me.
Do you want me to stay with you? I'd be willing to wait here. I mean, it's up to you. Oh, if you insist, I mean, if you're completely sure.
Oh dear. Oh my. Goddess protect me.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm not sure why the...
You can.
Mind
You wish to be of further service.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's telling me to go there. I am very worried that this guy's gonna get killed, though. But at the very least, I can leave him behind when I get to the sewers. Like, if we get to something and it kills him, I can then back it up, tell him to wait, and then try it again. Like, going forward, killing it, and then going back and getting him. That's a lich just outside. I was like, what are those dead bodies? Look how much health this thing has. I don't mind killing the zombie summons because it has this thing waste its time summoning another one. Just wait there, guy. Ah, no! Get out of here! I was really worried he was about to get himself killed. Why is this map marker so incorrect? Like, I am just gonna have to guess where this shrine is. Here we go, finally. The map marker's pointing me the right way. I went this way because I knew it's where all the liches were. Over encumbered? Doesn't matter, I can fly. These liches really take so long. They're so inconvenient. Stay back, guy. What are you doing? Get out of here. I knew it was gonna happen. Okay.
Yes?
Wait here.
Really? Excellent. I mean...
Oh, dear. Oh, my. Goddess, protect me.
I like that he has, like, the standard Dark Elf voice, but he just sounds like cowardly about everything. I do like that. Like the Morrowind Dark Elf voice. Come back here. Yep, just a waiting game. Just gotta, like, against these things, using the shield doesn't even matter. Because they're not physically attacking or anything. So I literally just have to DPS them to death. It's just one of those things of like, alright, it'll die eventually. What's that skeleton doing? All right, Lich. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Die already. Like, I think those things might be like the most damage spongy units we've come across in all of Morroblivion.
Yes? Must...
Like, they're definitely up there.
Oh dear. Oh my. Goddess protect me.
Like, they're definitely at least, like, top 5. Or top... more like top 3. Or top 2.
Justice never sleeps.
Excuse me? Where is this map marker taking me? I think this is taking me back to, like, Azura's front door. Or not Azura, Almalexia's front door. I don't think that's the right way at all. Okay, I'm gonna fly over here. This was the goblin area, so it was not over here. Yeah, this is definitely a curious process of elimination of, like, well, we already did that area, so we know it's probably not over there. Could it be down here? I'm not sure. I'm just gonna make another save. That guy's with me, so I'm gonna actually have to fight through these things. Okay, goblin falls through the ground. The fact that I'm fighting goblins over here makes me wonder if this is the right way or not. Like, it definitely makes me think that it might not be. Then again, you never know. God's Reach? What is that? That sounds like a place that would have a temple.
Yes? Must we I'd rather not speak of it. I know what must be done, but the place frightens me to the core. I don't know why I was chosen, but Our Lady believes I must be the one to go, as the shrine must be cleansed.
Okay, I know you said you prefer not to speak of it,
Oh dear.
but like like vague directions would have been appreciated.
I let the boss do all the talking. Talk to the boss. Welcome to my world, where we do things my way.
Oh, okay. Something tells me that's not who I'm supposed to be talking to. Okay, I was hoping I was not going to have to do another jump cut for this, but considering that we are really not finding our way down here. This DLC blows me away. The fact that I feel like I've already spent so much time wandering in these sewers, and I even cut out a big chunk of wandering in these sewers. I didn't realize Tribunal was just wandering in the sewers for so long. But okay, I'm gonna jump cut to after I find it. Okay, so I didn't find it. I didn't look up any guides or anything. So I didn't, like, actually look up what the proper way to find that shrine was, but I gave up searching manually. And don't mind Dead Fargoth there. Ignore him. I think one thing that's curious is that now that I'm back on Vardenfell, that the map marker points to here, and it's green. I was wondering what that means, what I would find there, but I bet it means that guy I was supposed to escort somehow teleported with me here, and maybe he ended up right here for some reason. Okay, but what are we doing instead of that? So instead we're going to be doing the third DLC for Morrowind, the one that is much less known. Much less well-known.
Your timing is excellent. I am looking for someone to lead a band of adventurers to Firemoth Fort.
Well, tell me about Firemoth Fort.
This Imperial fort offshore to the west was captured years ago by the undead horde of Gron, who literally marched out of the ocean and overran the garrison there. The survivors were forced to leave behind the ward of a cavern, and I'm looking for someone to lead a group to retrieve it. Are you up for it?
The Ward of Akavir. That's an item? Yeah, totally.
Excellent. Head out back to the dock. You'll meet your crew there. Talk to the boat captain about the trip to Firemoth. May the divines go with you and with our blessings.
You know, I feel like...
I wish this rain would stop.
I feel like since I have delved into a significant amount of Elder Scrolls lore now,
May I help you?
I feel like I have noticed more and more how the lore has changed over time.
I'll follow you. I hope you know what you're doing.
I super do, whoever you are.
Are you ready to sail to...
Yes, I'm super ready.
Hold on, and we're on our way.
I'm holding on. Take me away. There we go. Okay, so we've got Aeronil, Arondir, and Mara.
Are you ready to sail back?
And that guy's purpose is literally just to take me back and forth. Okay, and the fort is over there. All right. So we'll just kind of hug the islands here until we get over there. But yes, back to lore. So the more I have delved into lore, the more I have noticed that, like, so when it comes to lore, it's usually gonna be a dynamic thing, if that makes sense. Like, because we have Elder Scrolls Online now, I feel like they have chosen to change and retcon things a lot over the years. And a lot of things people would not notice at all. Right? Like Akavir, for example. Like, I don't know. I haven't played through I played through a little of Elder Scrolls Online, but I have definitely not played through all of it, right? But the Akaviri, like, because at one point in time, they were... At one point in time, they were an existing race in the Elder Scrolls series, like not a playable race, but at one point in time in the Empire's history, they were a race that was around because they came from Akavir, became the blades of the Emperor, and apparently died out or something.
This is too easy.
They never flat out say that they died out.
I will bathe in your blood.
But, like, you can't play them, and you don't meet any. So it sure seems like they're dead. Where's number 3? Did number 3 die? I guess number 3 died. But you would think the further you go back in time, that would not be the case, right? Like, if you rewound time by 1,000 years, maybe there would still be some around. But at least in terms of character creation, that's definitely not the case in ESO. You sure can't make an Akaviri. Whether or not you meet any, I don't know. There's the guy. He's still alive. Whether or not you meet any, I don't know. And how they portray them, I also don't know. Because going off of the lore, they should be the Golden Snake Men, the, like, Sayesi, or however it's pronounced. If there was an Akaviri race, that's who they should be. Because that's the ones that came over during the first invasion that formed the Blades. And one of them became potentate of the Empire for a while. And then was murdered. That was the guy that was murdered by the Dark Brotherhood, aka the Morag Tong, because the lore says that they didn't paint, like, for Sithis or for the Night Mother. Like, the Dark Brotherhood gets the credit, but after they murdered that dude, it was Morag Tong written in blood. not Dark Brotherhood, or it wasn't the hand or anything. But yeah, so they were around enough back then, and sure, there's not like gonna be a ton of them, but maybe there should be enough to be represented in ESO.
You chose the wrong
I've never
password
come
for
across
that.
any lore yet that says like a specific time of like, and then the last Akavir died. You're the last Akaviri resident in Tamriel died. You don't see any of that in the lore. But yeah, like when you just look at the armor and the katanas, you presume the Akaviri were like maybe like Japanese looking like people. Like maybe they were human. Maybe they were men that just look Japanese, considering all their weaponry and armor looks Japanese. But this is not the case. The lore says that the snake people killed the people. That there were humans. The lore says there were humans on Akavir, but that the snake people ate them all. Whatever that means.
I shall enjoy watching you take.
Yeah, and how much? Because they kind of describe them as like kind of looking like people. The Sayesi. They describe them as like kind of looking like people, like golden skinned, but like having some snake features and being like, and apparently very attractive. I think I remember reading that somewhere, but okay, well, was this not the... Okay, dungeon key. That's gotta be important. I didn't want that. But yeah, it just... Like, if there are, like, no Akaviri at all, I'm not sure if that would be a retcon or not. If there were no Akaviri at all at the time of the that ESO takes place, considering that they don't specify, like I said, they don't specify when the Akaviri were just dead and gone. Like they just they're not around today, so they must have all eventually died out at some point. Did no female Akaviri come over? So because they're immortal as well. So when, like, the last one died of assassination or just in combat, that was it? Then there was no more here? Is that what happened? Hard to tell. But yes, a more clear sign of a retcon is something like this is a weird example, but Molag Bal. So Molag Bal, like if you were to find Molag Bal's statue in Morrowind or in anything else, especially if you played ESO, you would presume Molag Bal is a guy, right? Very, very masculine voice coming from his statue. But if you were to read the lore in Morrowind specifically, you would realize that that's not the case at all. In the written lore of Morrowind, Molag Bal is quite clearly a female that has been retconned to, like, I guess you could say something like, oh, a Daedric prince can present himself however they want. But, like, every other Daedric prince has been consistent with how they present themselves, right? Like, Sheogorath has never shown up as a girl, right? And in the lore of Morrowind, in the written lore, it is quite clear that Molag Bal is a Daedric princess and has, like, a coven of witches. And not only that, seduced Vivek, one of the Tribunal, one of the pivotal characters of Morrowind, seduced them and had like an entire offspring line of monsters birthed by them. Is there like just a bunch of rats here? These are diseased rats. Are these things supposed to be fighting back?
I will bathe in your blood.
But yeah, so Molag Bal and Vivek have an entire like sub-race of Dunmer born under them that are some kind of like mutant monster race, right? And then Molag Bal gets retconned to be a guy, like another evil Daedric prince, similar. Similar, but even worse to Mehrunes Dagon, right? So that's an example of like a pretty hard retcon when it comes to Elder Scrolls. But the weird thing is the retcon is like practically in Morrowind itself. Raw Ebony, considering like that the voice of Molag Bal at the statue is a guy. So it's like the lore even within Morrowind as a finished product could not agree with itself on what Molag Bal should be. But on top of that, another example of a retcon that I can think of off the top of my head is that a lot of the lore talks about like demons and Daedra, like devils, demons, Daedra, like the difference in terms. And if you play Elder Scrolls games, you obviously know that they never say demons, right? Everybody says Daedra. But if you read the lore, you find out that Daedra is an elvish term. And that demon is a human term. So humans would call them demons, and elves would call them Daedra. And at first you can go like, oh, well, because they talk about how it was something that dates back to like the early Inalessian Empire and all that. And you can, like, rationalize it, like, a little bit of, like, oh, maybe, like, just calling things demon that were Daedra went away over time. Like, maybe as time went on, like, humans stopped saying it, and eventually everybody said demon. Or, Daedra, rather. Everybody stopped saying demon and started saying Daedra. But if you, like, something tells me that nobody is saying demon in ESO either. And that's what I mean by lore, like, is a dynamic thing that evolves over time. Because if lore is supposed to be, if something is supposed to be significantly different in the olden times, right? Like, because ESO is supposed to be 1,000 years before, But if it's something popular from modern time lore that doesn't completely gel with something that's, like, not well known, they're probably just gonna toss it out and retcon it. But once again, I have not played through the entirety of ESO. Maybe someone does it. I just highly doubt it. Considering no one does it in the main games either. It's just one of those things where, like, if it's only represented in text form and it's not represented in the bulk of the game, which is what most people are familiar with, then then there's no guarantee that anybody's gonna bother including it in a future work. I'm just gonna die here. I'm like really trying not to die here, but this thing is pretty tough. Do I have anything for healing? I've got Restore Magicka. Oh my god, I don't have anything. I'm gonna fly into the air, and then I'm gonna start healing. But yes, what I have learned going through the lore for sure is that a lot of times Bethesda likes to keep things extremely open-ended when it comes to the lore. You would think that they would have a lot more concrete answers when it comes to lore. If you were to like read every book that was in the games. And sure, you learn a lot if you do that. But it's also amazing how much they leave out of those books. Like, if you were to only read the books, and I asked you how long an elf lives in Elder Scrolls, you wouldn't be able to tell me. They never say it. They just kind of dance around it. They go, yes, elves live a long time. Like, they simultaneously talk about elves dying of old age while also talking about how long they live. Like, the only ones that you can, like, be sure that they live, like, super, super long are the Saesi, because they refer to them as immortal. But in terms of elves, in the books at least, it leaves it so open-ended to how long they live. Like, I know it's like 300 years, right? Like, it's around that. Like, give or take some decades. But, like, good luck finding that represented in any book. Yes, this was Grun. You know what? This guy's gonna super kill me. I don't have enough items to beat him. Let's crank down the difficulty. Like, I ran up there, and I was up there with him for like a couple seconds, and I'm already at half health again. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I can try and sunder him. I don't think he's gonna be paralyzable. Like, he's not a human that walks on the ground, so he's probably just gonna resist it. I heard him cast something. I think he summoned another zombie. It actually worked. I was a fool for not believing. I just gotta keep this up. Look at that health bar. My mouse is a little busted right now. Like, you see how it keeps doing that? How it keeps, like, double-clicking? That's been making things, like, really hard to edit. Like, when I'm actually doing, like, edited content, not just, like, play video game content. And, like, it also... Like, when I'm holding down click, it also does not... Like, unless I'm, like, really firmly pressing it down, it does not hold it down. It's very inconvenient. This mouse is dying, which is unfortunate because this is the only wireless mouse I've ever bought, and I've only had it for like a year. But then again, considering how much like YouTube stuff I've worked on over that year, like it probably has seen more use in a year than most people would put on it in like 5, right? So with that in mind, you know, maybe I can cut it some slack, but it's also very inconvenient that it's dying in just a year. It's a Logitech mouse, by the way. A Logitech wireless mouse. Look at this dude not dying. Is his health going back up? I feel like his health is not going down at all. Increase strength by 50 points. 50. If I increase my strength by 50 points, and then I just beat you up with Sunder, what happens? I'm not crazy, right? That health bar is not going down, or is it? I can't tell. You know what? If the blade that had paralyze on it worked, then maybe I think the intelligence drain, I think he just tried to absorb my health and it reflected and healed me instead. Has he just been doing that the whole time? Is that why? His health just keeps going up and it seems like I can't do enough damage? Well, what can I do about that? Levitate, shield, fortify strength. There's something I have that... I mean, my shield... Invisibility. That's the shadow shield. For a second I was like, is that Spellbreaker? But no, it's not. All my armor is completely busted. Heart ring. This seems pretty good. but it also does Dispel on Self. So maybe not good? Whatever, let's try it. Unless I can find something with Reflect on it, I'm gonna try it. Sister Guardian, go! Summon Wolf. Okay, where is Paralyze? Elemental Burst! Paralyze! Thunder broke. I am running out of weapons. What happened? What happened to me? Okay, what else can I use? Get up! I don't think I have anything else. I still don't have enough magic to cast Paralyze. Where's the ring? Heart ring, where are you? I'm gonna do it! I can't believe I left the one DLC just to come face to face with another Lich that I have to endlessly attack forever. Trying to do like the backstep power attack that's supposed to like paralyze, right? This sword is absolutely gonna break. Come on! I can't even tell if it's at half health yet. Did my magic get damaged at some point? Is that why I can't... Is that why I can't? cast this magic spell. I definitely should have 40 points of magic, right? How much life does this sword have left? 1. Does the Ring of Hersine transform me into a werewolf is the question. I don't know. This is so ridiculous. Come on, man. You can do it. Just die. Like, why set this dude's health this high? Like, I turned the difficulty all the way down, and this is what it's like. I mean, his health bar's getting down there. Surely he will eventually die. I'm getting so impatient. Let's... I'm gonna try something. Fortify strength. Where's the Ring of Hersine? Die! Die to werewolf! It's so weird that it must consider the werewolf claw as like a one-handed weapon. Because it's not attacking back and forth. Okay, the werewolf did do it. Now I'm stuck as a werewolf, though. I'm trying to apply... I'm trying to apply Skyrim logic to it. That I'll eventually transform back. Okay, it worked. And you know, I won't even be able to put the armor. Ward of Akavir. And an iron saber. Let's see, what is the Ward of Akavir? But yeah, I won't even be able to put all this stuff back on. Oh, wow. For some reason, I didn't think it would let me do that if it was busted. What is it? Yeah, I'll just punch with my... I'll just punch with Wraithguard. So it's like I'm punching with the Infinity Gauntlet. Well, that sure was a, absurd way to finish it up. The fight wasn't tied to that urn or something, was it? That sure would have been goofy. If I just had to take the bone meal out of there and he would have been weakened or something. What is that? The bone. Regardless, I don't think I need to go back to that guy and give him the thing to call this good. I think this is good enough. So, alright, we did it. We beat this DLC. We didn't beat the other one, but that's fine. maybe I'll continue that one someday. But this is where I'm calling it for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.